I just do the whole video like this, look kind of spooky. What's up everyone? We are back to working on the Mini. Today I wanted to change out the spark plugs. I do want to go one step colder than the factory plug. That is going to help when I start doing more modifications and the boost actually goes up. It'll help with avoiding any pre-detonation with it. The spark plugs that I have are these NGK Iridium. They are a heat range 8, which you can see the 8 right there. So they're a heat range 8. The factory plugs are a heat range 7. So these are one step colder. I did pick up a 14mm 12-point spark plug socket. It's not really necessary. You do need a 12-point socket. As long as you have a deep socket, you'd be able to use that. But I wanted to make sure that I had an actual spark plug socket, so it'll make it easier and faster for me to do the job. The spark plugs that are going back in do not require that 12-point socket. You can just use a standard spark plug socket for those. So let's get those spark plugs out, get these new ones in there. As you guys saw on that first one, I did everything by hand. I do want to use my electric impact on the rest of these after I actually get them loose, just to run them all the way out, just because they are so long, just to speed things up. But I will be torquing them down by hand. I won't be torquing them down with this or cracking them loose with it. So I want to make sure that I'm doing everything to keep the head as safe as possible. I don't want to end up stripping anything out. And I want to actually be able to feel how tight I'm getting these. This last one, I do want to show you guys the difference between these two plugs, well, the visible difference at least. You wouldn't be able to see temperature difference in them, but I can show you guys the difference physically between them. So this is the one that's coming out. You can see that hex pattern on there. So that is what we are getting rid of, part of what we're getting rid of going to these different plugs. We're getting rid of that hex pattern. Turns out they're actually a 14mm on these as well. But as you can see, they are not a hex, they are a standard pattern. As far as the plugs themselves, they look, well, these look old and dirty. These look nice and new, but other than that, they look identical. So you wouldn't be able to physically see a difference between them as far as anything outside of just the actual nut on there. And the ones that are coming out are actually an NGK R instead of the NGK Iridium. So these are the Iridiums that are going in, and they are an NGK. Doesn't say it on the plug, but normally it would say EIX for the Iridium plugs. And you can see on here, if I can get the camera to focus, maybe you guys will be able to see. I don't know if the camera's gonna focus here. Let me get my face out of the way, maybe it will. Maybe. All right, it's not really gonna focus, but you can see there is a 7 there in the plug that's coming out, and you can see the 8 in there for the plugs that are going in. Now that we've got all the plugs in there, they're all tightened down, it's time to put the coils back in there. Normally I would put a little bit of dielectric grease on the end of each of these, just so as it gets onto the plug, it has a nice clean connection there. But I don't currently have any dielectric grease. I thought I did, but I don't. So I will just do that at a later date. That spark plug's done. This is probably gonna be one of the shortest videos I ever upload, but it's a really quick, fast, easy job to do. If you guys aren't doing your own spark plugs, now hopefully you guys can. It's really easy, saves you some money, and it gets you learning some more about your car, gets you familiar with your vehicle. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully it would be helpful to you guys. Hopefully you hit that like and subscribe button. We'll see you guys very soon.